Today, I'm going to talk about this book called Insurgent by Veronica Roth. It is the second book in the Divergent trilogy, but before we do that, I'm going to say my November TBR. And even though it's the second week in November, that's okay. So first I'm going to read Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book right here. My sister read it and she said I should read this first before reading the other book, which is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. And I've wanted to read this book for a while, but I just haven't gotten to it. So I'm going to read these two for November. And I don't think I'll really read anything else other than that. Anyways, back to Insurgent. So I've been reading this book for quite some time. So I started it September 26th and finished it November 9th. It took me a long time to read because I've been really busy these past few months with volleyball and all that. So if you have not read the book, you should probably leave now and go read the first book, and then read the second book. Come back here, and then we can talk about it. The main thing that the people, the Dauntless people, and everyone is trying to accomplish in this book is to take down Eurydice, and there's some issues. In the beginning, since the end of Divergent, Tobias and Triss, they run away, and then they go to Amity, and they don't like it out of Amity, so they leave Amity, go to the factionless places, and then Tobias is like, oh my gosh, there's my mother, and they're like, I thought she was dead, but she's not. Whoa. And then his mother tells Triss to stay away from Tobias, and she's like, oh no, he's mad. They go to Candor, which is very interesting, because they're like, Tobias and Triss, they're like, you are traitors. And they're like, no, we're not, I promise. And they're like, you're gonna have to take the truth serum. And then, Christina, she's in the room while Triss is, like, getting evaluated with the truth serum. And then, because it's truth serum, she has to say all of her secrets. And then she's like, I killed Will, and Christina was like, oh my god, I'll never trust you again. And it's just a whole brouhaha. Then, the Dauntless traders, they arrive, to Candor, and, like, this whole shebang goes down, and they're trying to find the Divergent people in Candor, and it's just, and then Triss is like, oh my god, and then, they take him to this elevator place, and then Eric is there, and then Triss is about to die, and she's like, I'm gonna die, and then Tobias shows up, because he's just a superhero, and then he saves her, and they kill Eric, finally, because I hated him so much, and then they escape. After that, they go back to Dauntless. Now they go back to Dauntless. And I don't even think they stay there a while, because then Candor got attacked by the Dauntless traders. The Dauntless traders shooted them with this, simulation, and then when they go back to Dauntless, that Janine, who is the leader of Eurydice, said that each night, if they don't return one of the Divergent people, that they'll make 3 people kill themselves every night. So that happened to Molly, and 2 other people, I don't know. And, Christina, she wakes up Triss, and she's like, oh my gosh, we got to go help them. So, they save the other 2 people, and they let Molly kill herself, which is great. Okay, sure. There was like this child. Let's save the child instead of our friend. Okay, whatever. Then Triss volunteers as tribute without telling anyone, without telling Tobias. She's just like, oh, I'll leave. Okay, so she leaves. Then she arrives at Eurydice, and they hold her up in this, like, cell, and then they, like, experiment on her, and she's like, I'm gonna die, because they plan to execute her after they're done with the experiments and such. And then Tobias comes, of course, and then they try to keep them away, and then, I don't know, the part where Tobias, like, runs away with her to find the control room, I really don't get that part. Like, what? They could have just escaped, maybe? But he's like, let's go find the control rooms. That would be good and great. Triss's execution day, they, Peter, I don't like Peter, but he does something good for once. He switches out the serums, the one that was just to kill Triss, and one that, like, paralyzes her. So, she thinks she's dead, but she's not dead. And so, Peter, like, carries her, and then, Peter, like, does something, and then Tobias and Triss are reunited, and then they leave, and then, some stuff goes down. They go to abnegation. Marcus is like, let me help you, Triss. Let us do this thing. What were they doing? They were gonna save the data from Eurydice that had something to do with what is outside the gate. The fence. Apparently there's a fence now surrounding their city. I guess I never paid attention, but I guess there's a fence. Okay. So Triss is like, oh, what should I do? Should I go with Tobias and, like, take down Eurydice? Or should I help Marcus? And she's like, I'm gonna help Marcus. So, Marcus and Christina and Triss, they go to Amity to get some help, and some people come along, and then they arrive at Eurydice, get to the lab where the data is, and of course that doesn't go right. When they get there, there's some Candor simulation people, just like they had in Divergent with the Dauntless simulation people killing everyone, but they only reacted to movement, not noise, and that was good. Then, Christina, Marcus, Triss, Kara is her name, I think, which is Will's sister, I think. This dude named Fernando. They go through the, like, Eurydice classrooms, and then they kind of go on this ladder, because the classrooms are right here, then where they need to be is right here, so they're like, oh, let me get this ladder and go across, and walk across that, because that's safe. What? So Triss, of course, volunteers as first. Why didn't we have Marcus go first? What? I don't know. Anyways, so Triss goes first. She almost dies. Christina's like, no! Which, by the way, they're friends again. But I'm sad that Fernando died. We only got to meet him for, like, an hour, and then he died. That's sad. But I don't understand, the thing that Kara invents. It's like, oh, the stunner. I'm really confused as to what the stunner is, because I thought it would be, like, huge, like, a shoebox size. And then, when Triss goes across the ladder, she puts it beneath the waistband in her pants. So I'm confused what the stunner is. Please explain to me, someone, what the stunner is. I'm so confused. Down the computer system, so Kara stays in the computer place. Oh yeah, during Caleb sided again with your deity. He's such a traitor. I hate him so much. And then no, Caleb, no. So basically, I don't like Caleb. Eventually, they get somewhere. Christina gets shot in the leg. How sad. They have to leave her behind with Edward, who I don't like. I don't really like anyone in this series, because I can't trust them. Except Tobias. And then, it's just her, Triss, and Marcus left, and then they get to the top floor. There's 2 doors. They're like, we have to split up. When she gets in there, there's, like, large lights, and it identifies her. It's like, Triss Pryor, and she's like, whoa, what the heck? And it says 2nd generation, and she's like, what does this mean? I don't know what it means either. I'm quite confused. The voice says, yeah, 4 minutes to make it across to the other door before this poison kills you. She's like, oh crap. Then the lights come back on. Then, this part creeped me out so much. There was another one of Triss, like, standing right in front of her. She was like, oh my god. So, she has to make it across, and what the problem is that the other Triss wants to make it across to the door too. So they're, like, beating each other, and it's hard because the other Triss also knows the normal Triss's, like, strengths and weaknesses and all that, so she has to, like, manipulate and stuff. And then towards the end, because Triss can do that thing where she makes a gun appear, apparently, so she does that, and then the other Triss starts coming up as, like, Will, and she's like, no, which was mean, what the heck? Why'd she have to do that again? But she did it. She makes it through the door. She sees, Tori with Janine, and Tori's about to kill Janine. She's like, no, stop, I have to get the data. And Tori's like, no, and then she kills Janine, and Triss is like, this was all for nothing. Great. And then Tobias and Uriah come in the door, and Tobias is like, what? You're supposed to be home. What are you doing? What? And then Triss is like, oh crap. Oh, Lynn dies, which is sad, I guess. I didn't really get too much attached to Lynn. So at the end, they bring all the now traitors into the room, and since, like, all the factions are kind of destroyed, they're like, we need to come up with something new. Factionless, they're like, we can have no factions, and then people are like, what? And Tobias comes in, and he's like, I have the data, and Triss is like, oh my gosh, and then they're back together. It's wonderful. Then they play it, and basically it says that outside of the fence, there's, like, badness, people, like, the human race has failed, and everyone's just killing each other, so they, like, formed this society so that things could get better, and then once everything gets better, they tell Mitty to open the gates and free themselves from this little society that they have, and fix everything that's in the world that is bad. This person announces that they will now go by Edith Pryor. That is the end of the book. As for what I think is gonna happen in Insurgent, I don't want to read it yet because I don't want it to end, and I've heard it's really sad at the ending, like a Mockingjay, Hunger Games ending, and I'm just gonna put it off and read some other books before I do that. But I think that they're, I guess, gonna open the gates and see what's outside of their little society, and there's not going to be any more factions. There might be a lot of conflict. That's going to be it, guys. I kind of talked for a while. I tried to, go in chronological order, but it didn't quite work out, because I forgot some things. I know I did. But I just try to hit the major points. See you next time, guys. Stay fab and foxy. Bye.